For 10 years, Glassdoor has been a go-to resource both for job seekers and employers. Here to tell us more about Glassdoor and where it's headed is CEO and co-founder Robert Hohman. When Glassdoor launched in 2008, it was basically a TripAdvisor for job seekers. Now it's the #2 most popular job site in the US and increasingly a tool for recruiters. How did Glassdoor make that transition?
It's been very organic. When Rich and I started cooking this company up 10 years ago, we looked at the employment category, and what we saw was you had Monster and you had Career Builder, who were quite strong still. You had a few upstarts, and there wasn't a whole lot of innovation in the category. But still, rather than directly attack the recruitment and employment space, we felt like we need an angle. And we'd really like these transparency plays. So we felt like, let's use transparency to back into the employment category. It will be what differentiates us, and we can combine it with jobs and become a force in recruiting. And that's more or less what's happened.
And you generate the majority or all of your revenues from job listings and employer branding?
We generate it all from recruiting, and we have two primary recruiting tools. One is employer branding, where we help companies basically tell their story, explain to candidates, because we have almost 50 million candidates a month coming into our marketplace, and companies tell their story, why they should want to work there. Because job seekers would tell you it's great, and it's valuable to hear from the employees, all of that user-generated content, but they want to hear from the employer also. The second recruiting tool is very directly advertising your jobs in our marketplace.
Do you charge for job listings? The actual job listing itself?
So we're an aggregator. We have all the jobs already in North America. We charge for a company to sponsor their jobs.
What does that mean, sponsor?
Yeah, so it's kind of like Google AdWords. In the same way that, regardless of whether you pay Google or not, you will be listed in search. Whether you work with us or not, we're going to have your jobs, because our goal is to have all the jobs and all the content, so it's great for users. If you pay us to sponsor your job, there's places in the site where you will go. You'll see about a 60x increase in traffic to your jobs on average, and so you will dramatically increase the volume you'll get in our marketplace.
Glassdoor has also been lauded as being a very powerful tool for encouraging gender and racial parity. How has that happened, and why is that so important?
Well, I think one of the most important things for equality is transparency. If you want to run a, unfair, misogynistic, racist workplace, you need a shield of opacity to keep that a secret from the world. In other words, transparency is the main antidote to that. And so we've seen that, right? As we can clearly see pay disparities using the salary data on Glassdoor. That's really powerful to help companies examine their practices and to bring social pressure to bear to fix it. For companies that, might not be addressing racial issues or whatever in the workplace, it may show up on Glassdoor, and it's going to force you to deal with it.
And yet, when I look at your own company website, I notice that 90% of the board is white and 90% of the board is also male. And just 2 members out of 17 of upper management are Asian, with the rest being white. What's going on there?
So, like most tech companies, we believe very deeply in diversity and inclusion, as in, we just believe a diversity of opinions is going to make a board, a senior management team stronger. At the same time, we believe the best people should get the job, period. And so the best way to do that is to basically drive bias out of the workplace to the absolute best that you can. Probably the parts that we're most proud about is we've got a way higher percentage of women in leadership at Glassdoor than the tech average. Racial minorities it's hard. There is a pipe issue. You have to work really, really hard to fix that. One should do that work. But I am one that believes that, it is going to be decades until that really gets fixed.
From all the countless reviews you've seen, what is the one piece of concrete advice that you would give to employers looking to better their actual workplace?
So each year we do a best places to work list. Once we look at the highest rated companies, we go back and we read all the reviews. And we were looking for themes of basically why. Why did people love working at Facebook? Why do people love working at Bain? They've made the list every year for 9 years. Common threads are crystal clear communication from the most senior leaders in the company on what the vision is and what mountain we're climbing. That's probably the single most important. Number 2 driver, career development. At this point, particularly in North America, people don't expect to go to work for a company for their lifetime. And so anything the company does to grow people by investing in them through training, development, or opportunity, people view as really a gift that will give their whole lifetime. And so if you can really focus on those two things, crystal clear communication and great career development, those are two of the foundational things to being a best place to work.